fans and Elder Scrolls fans. Today we'll be playing a slightly different Elder Scrolls game that you may not have heard of, called RedGuard's Adventures. It's quite an old game, dating for 2000s I believe, and it's based on the history, the Elder Scrolls history after Elder Scrolls Online. So it's quite an old story, even for the lore and the history inside the Elder Scrolls universe. But with that, let's head straight in and get started.
It is late in the Second Era, a time of war, as the empire of Tiber Septim sweeps through the kingdoms of Tamriel in a glorious bid for conquest. Septim is opposed on all sides, but never more fiercely than by Hammerfell, the ancestral home of the RedGuards. The High King of Hammerfell, Thasard II, resists the imperial invasions even as he sees other kingdoms crumble. Until at last, without warning and surprisingly devoid of court treachery, death takes its full measure. With its High King dead, Hammerfell is crippled, plunging into a bloody civil war between the Crowns, fighting for their homeland's continued sovereignty, and the Forebears, who have finally accepted the Emperor's rule. The Crowns, led by the heir to Thasard, Prince Ator, are continually victorious, spilling the blood of the Forebears across Hammerfell's sands. From his seat of power in the port city of Stros M'Ki, Prince Ator slowly reunites his father's unraveled kingdom. Feeling their impending defeat, the Forebears sign a pact with the Emperor, allowing him to bring his armies in, crush the Crowns, and rule Hammerfell as his own. Tiber Septim's armies prove too much for the proud RedGuard Crowns. Tiber Septim sends his best commander, Lord Richten, to Stros M'Ki to close the grip on Prince Ator and the Crowns. The prince rallies his forces for one last stand. Knowing that Hammerfell's sovereignty is at stake, the Crown forces match the might of the Empire, meeting them in the harbor of Stros M'Ki for the final battle. The fighting is fierce. Lord Richten, having seen the prince's victories at sea before, decides to bring his last resource to the fore. The dragon, Nathalilagus, proud jewel of the Imperial Crown. Ator commands his archers to ready their weapons, but is struck down himself by Richten's assassin, felled by an arrow whose poison spreads too fast. Ator's wizard attempts to save the prince, but the dragon ends his magic and the Crown's hope for victory in a single fiery breath. Having conquered the Crowns, the Emperor's forces claim rule over all of Hammerfell. Imperial garrisons are stationed at every city, and Rickton himself is named provisional governor of Stros M'Ki. Months pass. The RedGuards of Hammerfell, both Crown and Forebear, learn to live under the new Imperial rule, and Tiber Septim extends his reach into the rest of Tamriel. It is only through fate that any of this will come to concern our hero, Cyrus, a RedGuard who long ago left Hammerfell to wander the borderlands of the Empire.
Cyrus, eto forwakecher okodor.
Let's make this short, Sarathra. I've got work to do.
Balizihataratami. Sicho.
I leave with Duardin's men in an hour.
Renrigi intnor. Oko o imperial ja. Iko pofam rotot velk.
You should know you got me the job.
Tragir. Sratra kol Kotaro to Hammerfell. Boshe in rot.
The seal is broken.
Sratra warrega.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Nukodwadin. Sratra X Kyle.
Iszara.
Roliter dek kaudor.
I need a ship.
To board the koi Sratra Nakovik Warabarashi.
Money, too.
Sridwadin ja. Epako ja srik. Pur Sratra kadoiliter beko.
We haven't spoken in 10 years. There was trouble.
Kakatar.
I killed her husband.
Hammerfell's prodigal son, Cyrus, returns to the province of his birth. He buys passage to the island of Stros M'Ki in the hopes of rescuing his sister, Iszara.
Get below is what the pilot said to the wet-eared maids before him.
The Restless League is claiming this cargo,
Said the other with cruel clarity.
Probably wouldn't make a difference if I told you I had no time for this.
This is about RedGuard armor, boy. Stand aside.
Yes, a doubtful notion it is. Piracy and politics. But there you have it.
Never been much for politics. In my day, piracy was honest work.
Don't be a hero, boy.
Where's the money in that?
And yea, verily, by his bravery they were impressed for a scant few seconds.
And here we go.
You do that very
Okay, so
well.
the game then. So there's our introduction to the game, and our main character we'll be playing, Cyrus. Let's deal with these pirates for continuing.
You're rusty. Move over. No! You little rat. You really should have known that.
That's one.
Yeah. Lock small, cut, nothing more. You're slow.
Nice. Trouble.
Cyrus! Captain, good to see you back in command.
Please call me Brennan. You disposed of those ruffians so quickly, I had no time to retrieve my sword from my cabin.
That's so,
Look, over there. Let us move on before more show up.
And there we go. We come from the cutscene, and we've landed in the port city of Stros M'Ki. So let's talk to the captain, see what we've got. What kind of information he can offer us.
Your health, lad.
Hello again, Captain Brennan.
Ah, the valiant swordsman returns. How can I help you?
So let's ask him about Iszara, see if he's got any clue on their whereabouts.
I am looking for my sister Iszara. Perhaps you have heard of her.
I'm afraid not. Before the Empire cleaned things up, Stros M'Ki was a pirate haven, avoided by honest merchants like myself.
What about
How has
Stros
Stros
M'Ki?
M'Ki fared under its new imperial masters?
The locals are still chafing at the bit, but in time, they will come to appreciate the benefits of membership in the Empire.
That's so, The Empire has done well in its conquest of Hammerfell, you think?
Absolutely. No offense, but Hammerfell is in need of some law and order.
So it was a pirate haven. Let's see what he means by that.
It seems the Empire has not eliminated all the pirates from Stros M'Ki.
Apparently so. They've become bold, attacking a ship so far into Hunding Bay. But give it time. The Empire has only been here a few months.
Maybe he
The
knows something
pirates who
about the
attacked us spoke of a Restless League. Have you heard of them?
Other captains tell me the remaining banditti have organized themselves against the Empire's crackdown on smuggling and piracy.
All way up to the left is Draggin Tale.
I am meeting a friend at the Draggin Tale. Can you direct me?
I can't recommend it, but it's the only drink hall in this godforsaken town. Up the bridge, you see to the right, through the gate to the town square, you will see the sign.
So it looks like we've got a lead, so let's follow instructions, see who else we can find. Hopefully we can find some clues for Sister Iszara.
Thanks. We'll talk later.
And here we go. Our first bit of land.
Sorry, sweetheart.
Unfortunately, I had to load a different save, as I kept crashing a part of the cutscene you saw earlier. But luckily,
Oh, ahoy there, sailor. Can I have a word with you?
so some of the characters might just have slightly different dialogue.
Greetings, stranger.
What can I do for you, friend?
The question is, what can I do for you? The young stranger in town, fearless, footloose, and fancy-free, a little light of purse, perhaps. I have a proposition that may appeal, but first allow me to introduce myself. Kotaro, contractor of Stros M'Ki, at your service.
Cyrus. Charmed.
Okay, sounds like he might have a job for us. Let's ask if he's met Iszara first.
I wonder if you know my sister, Iszara. I've come to Stros M'Ki to find out what's happened to her.
I'm afraid I don't know her. I'm just a simple working man. You might try Dreekius up at the Draggin Tale. Pretty much everyone in Stros M'Ki passes through his door eventually.
Dreekius? Who's this Dreekius?
Dreekius?
A friendly local lizard. Not that I have anything against him. Or her. Or whatever. Can't ever tell with those Argonians. Runs the Draggin Tale, the tavern on the town square.
I'm supposed to meet a friend at the Draggin Tale. Can you direct me?
It's the only watering hole in town. Follow the ramps uphill to the town square. Bit of friendly advice, watch your step. The Forebears are a touchy lot these days.
Okay, that's useful. Sounds like we just have to keep following the road up the ramps. I wonder what he means by touchy people there. See what he thinks about the league first.
What do you know about a group of ruffians calling themselves the Restless League?
Damn them and their bloody-minded ways. They've done more to ruin Stros M'Ki than the Forebears and Empire combined. If it weren't for them, this city would have been at peace months ago.
How is the Restless League responsible for ruining Stros M'Ki?
Burning or plundering half the cargoes headed for this port, stirring up the Imperials to ever more ruthless repression. The League doesn't seem to realize that the war is over. and they lost.
Okay, so yeah, remembered the cutscene at the start. I think the League worked with the Crowns who lost.
You're saying the League was allied with the Crowns?
There you go.
That depends on who you ask. I don't know. I'm not one of your political gentlemen, always in someone else's business. I'm just a poor working stiff. Bird in the hand is better, you know what they say.
Let's see what he thinks about
I haven't been in
occupation.
Hammerfell since before the war. How do you like being a citizen of the Empire?
Sure beats war, my young friend. I won't lie to you, though. Hard to find honest labor these days. Forebears would rather smirk than lift, and the Crowns don't have the back for it anymore.
Sounds like the Crowns are taking their defeat pretty hard.
Yeah, I've always stayed out of politics. Bad for business. Crown, Forebear, I don't care. As long as their coin is true. My philosophy is, what's done is done. Live and let live. The grass is always greener, you know?
I guess the Forebears are still savoring victory in the Civil War, eh?
Yeah, you could say that, although you might not want to say it in their faces. They're a touchy lot these days.
I've been up north for years, but I was pretty sure the Forebears won the war.
Of course they did. And the Forebears like to bust up the Draggin Tale just in case anyone doubts it. Some ungenerous Crowns like to point out the Imperial flags flying all over the palace, and the Imperial soldiers patrolling the streets. None of my concern, though, haha, you know what I mean?
Okay, let's see what he's got for us, work-wise.
Tell me about this job you have for me.
A simple task. Pick up an amulet from Nagasta and deliver it to the governor's palace. Now, to be honest, I've been having trouble finding someone to take the job. But I'm sure a robust lad such as yourself pays no attention to silly local superstitions. Are you interested?
I'm considering. I have a few more questions first.
Ask away, my good Cyrus. I have nothing to hide.
Let's see what kind of information we can get for accepting this job. We'll start with the most important one, of
How
course.
much are you offering for this job?
Like I said, I've been having trouble hiring for this job, so I'm upping the rate a bit. 100 up front and 200 more after completion.
That's pretty high for a simple delivery. What's the catch?
The pay's proportional to the danger. Nagasta's tower isn't exactly on the main road, you know? So you may have a little trouble getting there. Nothing that you can't handle, I'm sure.
Okay, let's find out about this Nagasta guy.
Nagasta?
Yeah, a harmless old hermit. The more superstitious of my fellow citizens repeat silly rumors about him, but I put no stock in their tales. He lives in the old wizard's tower. Just follow the shoals on the northwest side of the island.
What superstitions do the locals harbor about this Nagasta?
Oh, you know, they call him a necromancer, prattle about him stealing people's souls, armies of undead, you know, that sort of thing. Nothing a well-armed fellow like yourself would worry about.
Sounds awesome. Let's get a bit more
Any
information.
idea what's so important about this amulet?
That's between Nagasta and the governor. I just get paid to find a delivery man.
Where can I find the governor's palace?
Straight at the top of the hill. You can't miss it. The grandest structure in Stros M'Ki, maybe in all of Hammerfell. Quite the tourist attraction before the late unpleasantness.
Total of information. It sounds promising, especially how much it pays, so how about we take the job?
Sure. I'll take the job.
Splendid. Here's your 100 gold. I'll have the rest for you after you deliver the amulet to the governor. Well, I'm sure you won't have any trouble, but, you probably want to do this during the daylight.
You call yourself a contractor. What does that mean?
Over here we have someone who needs something done. Over there we have someone who's looking for work. How do they find each other? That's where I come in.
Okay, so
We'll talk later.
So that's a good little bonus there. We get 100 gold straight away. And we'll get 200 more when we finish the job. Very nice. We'll come back to that. Let's come up here first. looks like an interesting building. Gerrick's Goods, sounds like a general store perhaps. Let's head in.
Good day.
Hello, shopkeeper. My name is Cyrus.
Pleased to meet you, my good fellow. Gerrick, your humble servant.
Let's see if this elf knows anything about Iszara.
I wonder if you know my sister Iszara.
Iszara? Iszara! A lovely name, by the way. I believe she may have been mixed up with those League pirates. Am I right?
What do you know about the Restless League?
A collection of the worst scum from the sewers of Stros M'Ki. Pirates who'd cut your throat as soon as look at you. I know your sister's name.
What did he say?
Ignore Orsine, good Cyrus. He's a half-wit. What were we talking about?
The League. That's what I'm trying to find out. She's been missing for 3 months. What do you know about them?
That bloodthirsty gang of villains. If your poor sister was connected with them, I'm afraid to speculate on what might have happened. Or pretty. They've been a plague on Stros M'Ki for years, although the cowards haven't dared show their faces since the Imperials arrived. Late fake Gerrick knows more. Knows more.
Please, if you know anything more about Iszara.
Well, she came into my shop some time ago, looking for malachite. Don't stock it, of course, unusual request. But she was very insistent. Squawk! Sister plenty money, right, mate? Iszara offered me a tidy sum for the malachite, much more than it was worth. I said I could have some for her in 3 weeks, but she needed it right away. I'm afraid she may have tried the smuggler's den, dear me. Not a place to walk into with a purse full of gold.
Okay, that's interesting. Sounds like we need to find this smuggler's den place. They might have more information. And if you saw at the top right there, we had a little scroll writing. So I'll show you all about that in a second.
Smuggler's Den?
Yes, under the cartographer's shop. An open secret around town. I'm sure those smugglers are connected with the Restless League, selling Valenwood wine stolen from my own ships at double the price since they have no competition. I can't prove any of it, of course. I'm a pretty bird.
Did Iszara say why she needed malachite?
I'm sorry, no. Not much call for it anymore, now that the alchemist shop is closed. Old brownish crustfinger!
Malachite is used in alchemy.
I believe so. Old Vromish, the alchemist, used to order a pound or two from time to time. But he's been dead now these 7 years. And the Mages Guild gets their potions wholesale, so I haven't carried malachite since.
Let's see what kind of business this guy does.
How's business these days?
If it's not pirates stealing your cargo, it's Imperial taxes. I get by, though. All the ships heading for the Iliac Bay pass through here, so I get first crack at all their wares, as long as I can get that lazy Rollo to bring it up from the harbor. Lazy Rollo, fat Orsine.
I'd like to make a purchase.
Splendid. What do you need?
Okay, so here we can buy some goods. You might have seen it's a little bit different from the other Elder Scrolls games, what you would normally expect. So rather than a typical inventory menu, you just get their different names. So
That looks like a decent compass.
The one item no one should be without. Never lose your way again. For the small investment of 50 gold, peace of mind for a lifetime.
Okay, that might help us out, so let's go.
I'll take it.
A pleasure doing business with you, Cyrus.
Interesting feathers.
Ah, yes, from the exotic Kana bird, a favorite of mine, for they are bred on Somerset Isle, bred for their beauty, I might add. They make an excellent gift for 10 gold. I'm a pretty bird.
looks like he sells feathers as well. Quite interesting, so let's buy one and
I'll take
find
it.
out what it does.
You won't regret it.
Get a shovel as
The
well.
shovel over there, how much?
A sturdy shovel. Just the thing for the intrepid treasure hunter. Guaranteed not to break, scratch, or dent. A bargain at only 30 gold.
I'll take it.
The best quality, I assure you.
Okay, very nice. I'm sure we'll be doing some treasure hunting and digging up things later on.
Thanks
So
for the
it's
time,
good to have
Gerrick.
that in our inventory. We have everything for now, I think. And if we look around, we can actually examine all these items we bought.
A compass. The red gem always moves to the north.
So that's good to know. When we use the compass to explore the island, we'll follow the red diamond. But we need to head north. We can explore these other items, we'll do that another time perhaps. And here we go. Let's keep exploring the town.
He looks a little preoccupied.
Too busy right now, we'll come back to him. Quite a fancy looking bell tower as well. I'm sure we have enough time to explore before meeting our friend.
Greetings, old man. I am Cyrus.
Cyrus, eh? Never heard of you. Must be new around here. My name's Favis. Everybody just calls me Favis, though.
My sister Iszara is missing. Do you know her?
Oh, a nice young lady, too. Sister, you say? I haven't seen her around in a while, though. Wonder if she might be missing.
Apparently, no one has seen her for months. Do you have any idea what might have happened?
Might have something to do with the Restless League. Some of them fellows came around looking for her a while back.
Iszara was in trouble with the Restless League?
I didn't say that. Although, come to think of it, they didn't look too friendly. No one you'd want to cross, that's for sure. Their enemies have a way of turning up dead.
My ship was attacked by 2 members of the Restless League just off Stros M'Ki. What can you tell me about them?
Not much. Fire-eating RedGuard nationalists. More even than most crowns could stomach. But they've kept quiet since the old quarter was burned. I wonder why they decided to attack your ship.
Stros M'Ki was a crown stronghold, wasn't it?
It was the seat of power for the crown. Ator led the crowns from here after Assad's death. We suffered greatly for it since young Prince Ator died. Took all hope out of the crown, but not all the fight.
Not all.
No, the battle in the old quarter did that.
Tell me what happened in the old quarter.
The crowns made their last stand there after the dragon destroyed Ator's fleet. Senseless bravado. Should have done what the League did. And laid low until the Imperials were off guard. Instead, they went down fighting. RedGuard heroes, but dead all the same.
I don't know. How long has it been since their last attack?
Must have been a month or 2 at least. Their last big success was blowing up Richmond's flagship right here in the harbor. A pity in a way. Whatever else you say about the Imperials, they make beautiful ships. With that little cape across the League, let it. Afterwards, Rickson rounded up anyone who'd ever spoken to a Leagueman. I was starting to think he had crushed them completely.
My ship was attacked by 2 members of the Restless League just off Stros M'Ki. What can you tell me about them?
Not much. Fire-eating RedGuard nationalists. More even than most crowns could stomach. But they've kept quiet since the old quarter was burned. I wonder why they decided to attack your ship.
What happened to Prince Ator?
Died in battle, like a RedGuard hero of old. I've heard tales that he ain't dead, but that's all rubbish.
Really?
I spoke with sailors from the Garamar, singing in line of battle behind Ator's flagship. They saw him on deck just as the dragon lit up his ship like a festival bonfire. Were there the flagship? Not one.
King Fasad's death was inconvenient for many, but I've never heard tell of foul play.
Nor I. The Forebears preferred Fasad to his son Atar, a known League sympathizer. Fasad had no patience for the League himself. Called them terrorists. May be true, but they show more sense than the Crowns from this whole bloody mess.
I expected to see Stros M'Ki full of forebears after their victory.
Hardly a Forebear victory. It was Imperial might that defeated the Crowns, laddie. Make no mistake about that. The Thors so few that Richter brought with him mostly stay up in the palace or drink themselves to stupor. You might run into him at the Draggin Tale, looking for trouble, so you'll want to be careful.
That was quite a lot of information there. I did forget to mention earlier that it will be quite a lot of talking in the first few minutes in most of this video. I'll add timestamps to the more exciting and dramatic parts as well. So before we leave, let's just keep talking to our new friend here.
You're not in the Restless League?
Me? Ha! If I was, do you think I'd still be here? With precious Governor Richter throwing every known leaguesman in the catacombs? In my day, things were simple. A RedGuard was loyal to the king, and that was that. All this newfangled politics, Crowns and Forebears, Restless League, not for me.
I wonder what he means by catacombs. Sounds like all the Restless League might be in there.
What of these catacombs?
You're a nosy young fella, aren't you? The less you know about them, the better. If Richter doesn't like you, he throws you in jail. If he really doesn't like you, he throws you in the catacombs. No one comes out of there alive.
This dragon, have you seen it?
Not with my own eyes, but I heard tell of it from the survivors. They say Richter keeps it in the catacombs, feeding it on captured leaguesmen.
What can you tell me about Governor Richter?
Oh yeah, good soldier maybe, but a bloodthirsty beast of a ruler. He enjoys having Stros M'Ki under his thumb, he does. Won't be much of it left when he's through.
Okay, so sounds like Governor Richter sent all these Restless League into catacombs to be eaten by this Zoom dragon. So that might be a good lead considering Iszara communications with the Restless League. Let's see what this guy thinks about Stros M'Ki in general.
How do things stand in Stros M'Ki under Imperial occupation?
As bad as they can be. Looks peaceful now, doesn't it? The peace of the grave, it is. Most of the younger folk dead or run off. In the old days, this was the bustling south heart of Hammerfell. Harbor jammed with shipping, sailors from all over walking the streets. What you see now is the ghost of the old Stros M'Ki. Dead, but it just don't know it yet.
How about we ask him about his bell as well?
You're in charge of this bell tower?
Don't wanna be, but I'm stuck with it. Dan Purnell's fault leaves me stuck here while he sits up in the cool breeze and watches Hunding Bay roll by. Does he think I'd like to wave the flag once in a while? Stubborn as a mule he is, and ungrateful to boot.
Purnell, a friend of yours?
Friend? Ha! Blind as a bat he is, but will he ever let me wave the flag? No, too stuffy down there, he says. You fall off the chair, he said. Always some excuse. Now he's gone and broken the bell. Don't know why I put up with it.
I'm not sure I follow you. What flag do you mean?
We're supposed to trade off. One of us watches for ships, waves the flag when he sees one, then the other rings the bell to let people know. But he never lets me take my turn in the watchtower. Doesn't care about my feelings, not at all. Always about what Purnell wants.
The bell doesn't look broken.
Well, not broken exactly, but I'm sure it doesn't ring as loud as it used to. But Purnell wouldn't let me have like he look at it, would he? Insisted on doing it himself. Typical. Took him half the day, then had the nerve to tell me there's nothing wrong with it.
I'm not sure if I've met Lakeen.
Me neither. Now that Lakeen, on the other hand, handiest young fellow I ever met, can fix anything. Hey, you look like a handy sort yourself. Maybe you could take a look at it for me.
Sure, why not?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Good lad.
So it sounds like we have to help this guy check out his spells. Doesn't sound wrong at all. I think if we jump up here, let's see if we
What's
find
this?
anything.
What's this? Nothing wrong with this bell. Just the old man's ears that need fixing.
Okay, so apparently the bell looks fine, but we found something interesting here. We're just holding
What's
shift
this?
and A, turn around.
What's this? What's this?
Glass bundle by looks of it. Wonder what this is doing up here.
Stay there, young fella.
Favis, how are you doing?
Been better, been worse.
I checked, and there's nothing wrong with the bell.
Good lad. I was right. That fool Brunel said it didn't need fixing, but I knew it needed fixing, so you fixed it, eh? Well, I'm much obliged.
Sure. I think this old man might be
That's
losing
all
his
for now,
marbles a little bit. No matter. Found something interesting and a bit more information. Okay, let's keep going up to town, see who else we can find and talk to. How about we check out this library over here? Jeffers books. You can always find useful information in books. Let's see what it has to say.
This book on elven artifacts details the Flask of Lillandril, an ancient flask with the ability to absorb magic. The flask was supposedly shipwrecked with its founders off the coast of Stros M'Ki sometime during the First Era. One of the sections even has some sort of map notations in it. Maybe someone can make a map from them.
Okay, it's interesting. Some magical bottle or glass. That's some treasure we can find in the future. Is there any more books we can read?
This book on dwarven lore reveals that the dwarves were destroyed long ago by the Dark Elves. There is one interesting passage which translates the dwarven language, which bears a slight resemblance to Elven. Flora of Hammerfell details the flora of my home province. It says here that aloe, when combined with pure water, can have healing properties.
That's interesting. So if you remember from earlier, from the Gerrick store, we can buy aloe vera from there, or aloe there. So we might be able to make our own health potions in the future. We'll keep looking for them.
RedGuards. They're heroes in history. It talks of RedGuard origins and their great heroes, including Hunding, who, with his 5 magical swords, drove the goblins from Hammerfell, and Lecky, the saint of the spirit sword. It says here that the stars of Tamriel are divided into 13 constellations. 3 of them are the major constellations, the Guardians, which protect the minor ones, their charges from the 13th constellation, which is the Serpent. Each Guardian has 3 charges apiece, and are only on guard during their particular season. The current season is presided over by the Warrior.
Okay, so this is the kind of star signs you might have heard of from the other Elder Scrolls games. Got a lot of interesting lore behind that. We'll leave that for today.
Welcome to Jeffers.
It's not like there's anything back here we can read.
Pardon, but no patrons behind the counter.
Cool. Sorry. Looks like he doesn't like us behind them.
May your wisdom increase.
Hail, Desert Walker. I am Cyrus.
Jafar is at your service.
Wonder if this guy knows anything about Zara.
My sister Iszara is missing. Do you know her?
An all too common tale in the city. Jafar regrets that he cannot count your sister among his friends.
Ever heard of a group called the Restless League?
Some say pirates, some say rebels. Jafar knows too little to judge. Rumor calls them secret allies of the late prince. Whether they survived the Crown's defeat, Jafar cannot say.
Stros M'Ki seems quiet, almost deserted. Has the Imperial occupation been so harsh?
Tiber Septim has many clansmen of lesser repute than he. The city of the RedGuard suffers under one of the least of these. Provisional Governor Rickton.
Is there any way to gain an audience with the governor?
Proclaiming yourself a crown might work, but more likely will lead to a speedy death. Few besides forebears have access to the palace.
There must be some other way into the palace.
An interesting architectural puzzle. The present structure dates to the early Common Era. A harmonious design. That is, until our esteemed governor began his renovations. The foundations are much older, connected to a maze of catacombs which may predate the arrival of RedGuards in Amulet.
How do I get into the catacombs?
That honor is now reserved for crowns, who must find it a pleasant place, for none has ever returned.
The Forebears run Stros M'Ki now?
RedGuard politics largely escaped me. The Forebears allied with the Empire to win the throne, yet who sits on the high seat of Sentinel? Not Baron Volag, strangely absent from public view since his victory.
Do you think Rickton dared murder the Forebears' leader?
A strange reward for your chief ally, Jafar agrees. And no mention of murder passed Jafar's lips. Still, there is no king in Hammerfell.
Is it so dangerous to be a crown these days?
Jafar's interests lie more in the past than with the current upheavals, but even Jafar can see that the city has been cleansed of dissidents. Yet soldiers continue to scour the island. To what end?
Do you have any idea what the Imperials are looking for?
Jafar sent 4 copies of Dwarven lore to the palace last week. It may be no coincidence that Stros M'Ki, with the largest dwarven ruins in the Windward Lands, has received particular attention from the mighty Tiber Septim's clansmen.
Okay, so I got quite a bit of information from him. Mainly the same thing about the Crowns and Forebears, but sounds like the palace is quite ancient, especially catacombs. So that's quite interesting lore. Wonder if that'll help us out in any way. And it sounds like the Empire and Rickton's hunting for Dwemer ruins, artifacts, possibly.
Windward Lands? I'm not familiar with that term.
My apologies. Jafar almost forgot he spoke to the unclawed. The coastlands of Tamriel, to the northwest of our desert homeland. Mighty Tiber Septim bids fair to become clan mother to them all, Hammerfell included.
If you remember Tiber Septim's name, he's in quite a few of the other Elder Scrolls games, especially Skyrim. Let's see what our Gazik friend thinks of that one.
Tiber Septim's reputation seems to depend on who you ask.
True, and the RedGuards have long memories, as the statue in the harbor attests. History loves an empire builder, though. Zephyr cannot yet say who will write Septim's epitaph.
I was surprised to see Hunding's statue still standing, national treasure or not.
Doubtless, our esteemed governor has reasons aside from RedGuard's sentiment. Lord Rickton has shown indifference to such niceties in other matters. Witness the fate of the old quarter.
The old quarter? What happened there?
In his excessive zeal to root out his clan's enemies, Rickton put it to the torch. A silent history of Hammerfell, wrought in stone and wood, now ashes. The RedGuards speak of dragonfire in the night, but Zephyr remained indoors, and so saw nothing.
Do you mean a dragon was here on Stros M'Ki?
Was, is. Zephyr hears much, but knows little.
Dwarven ruins. I'm intrigued.
As well you should be. An amazing sight, full of the inexplicable work of that vanished people. No longer open for visitors. However, the Imperials have sealed the ancient gates for reasons known only to our honorable governor.
That's all the information he's had. How about we talk about
I'd like
some
to buy a
books?
book.
These shelves hold wisdom and folly in equal measure. Choose carefully.
How much for Elven Artifacts, Volume 3?
Ah, the hoary tale of the Flask of Lillandril piques your interest. Legend more than history, but a good read for 40 gold. Will it be yours?
Okay,
I'll have to think about it.
we'll hold off buying them
As
for now,
you
but
wish.
let's keep asking, see if he's got any more information about these books.
What do you know of this legendary flask?
Legends surround it, but Zephyr is sure the flask is real. Scribes of ancient Lillandril record its discovery. Yes, the flask is not of elfish make, despite what you may read. They found it, used it, and lost it. But its creator is unknown.
What makes the flask so valuable?
Here we have only legend to guide us. Stories tell of the High Wizard of Valenwood himself, defeated by a stable boy, armed only with the flask. Exaggeration, surely, but still a kernel of truth. An anti-magic device of no small power.
It sounds like the flask may absorb magic.
Perhaps that would explain why no mage has ever been able to detect its location.
Okay, that's interesting. So it sounds like there's a ancient artifact found by the ancient elves.
I'd like to buy a book.
Used against magic.
These shelves hold wisdom and folly in equal measure.
If I remember correctly, the book we found earlier had a bit of a map on it, so maybe we can find that later on. Let's hear more about the other books first.
Do you recommend Favrel's Dwarven lore?
Marabar Sul's Ancient Tales of a Dreamer is more comprehensive, but hard to come by, alas. And a weighty tome, too, at 16 volumes. For 54 gold, Favrel's little book is an excellent overview.
As much as I love the Dwemer, I think it's a bit too pricey for us right now.
I'll have to
So
think
maybe
about
later.
As you wish.
What do you think about Folk's Firmament?
Less ambitious than Yunkarl's published studies, and less concerned with comparative astrology. though a decidedly human take on the stars of Tamriel. Folk's firmament is not without its own little virtues. Zifar can part with it then for 36 gold.
I'll have to think about it.
We'll leave them there for now.
As you wish.
Peace, Desert Walker. I must go.
Okay. So we've got quite a lot of information from that guy. At least lore-wise and history-wise. Let's go meet our friend in the tavern now. Here we go, the Draggin Tale Inn. And there we go.
Cyrus! You made it! Come here, lad.
There you go. Just as about to say, we found our friend Tobias. Let's see if he can help us out.
How you look good. It's been too long.
If you hadn't retired,
Mercenary likes younger men's work.
bah, he said.
I prayed that you would get my letter.
It is lucky you were here, Tobias, or I wouldn't have known Iszara was in trouble. I have not been in Hammerfell since the,
I know, lad, what you mean.
Anyway, Stros M'Ki has no one who could have reached me. Thank you.
I sent the letter some weeks ago, Cyrus. I fear things have gotten worse for your sister since.
How did you know where to reach me, Tobias? Our paths parted so long ago.
I didn't send it to you directly. I knew that damn cat was probably still getting you into trouble, even to this day. Srafra seemed the likely solution, and through the channels I'd heard, he'd made Wayrest his port of late.
How do you mean worse? What more do you know about Iszara?
Nothing more than my letter has described, that she is gone and no one knows where. Just a bad feeling that's grown worse with the wait. The governor has not been merciful with the crowns that survived the battle. I hear his dragon's belly is full of the overloud, and that many died later in the burning of the old quarter.
Oh dear, this doesn't sound promising. Sounds like it's been quite a few months since our sister went missing. It's the trouble with sending a letter in these old days. It takes a while. Let's see if he knows anyone else that knew about Iszara.
Who in this town knew of Iszara?
I did not question many for fear of ill allegiance, so I went to the temple to ask of her. For the brothers of RK are neutral in mortal affairs. There, Brother Niddle told me that Iszara had vanished, and set me on the road of writing you. Also, Dreekius here knew that she was missing too.
What can you tell me about Iszara?
She frequented this establishment much before the battle in Hunding Bay. Less after, of course.
Of course.
She was a fervent one, your nestling, who hated the Empire not in hushed tones. After the occupation, she disappeared for a while.
She disappeared 3 months ago.
No, I'm talking about before that, right after the battle. Many crowns had scattered in the wake then, hiding where they could. I didn't see her for several days following. But then she showed up, needing a drink and rambling, tense on some decision.
What then?
The Imperials came and I let her out through the back. I haven't seen her since.
Okay, so it looks like we've got a new lead with the Brothers of OK Temple. So maybe they'd be able to help us out.
So the priests are still safe from being conquered.
Be that as it may, the temple is quite empty of priests, save for Brother Niddle. It seems some of their ranks have disappeared also.
I'm noticing a theme. Where did you hear that?
Niddle told me Brother Kotaro vanished around the same time as your sister, and that they knew each other.
So I can count Brother Niddle as an ally then?
On my word, he was most helpful, but he seemed to be holding something back.
I wouldn't consider paranoia a bad character trait in Stros M'Ki these days. Besides, you're so ugly.
That was it. He may open up to you more, being Iszara's brother and half as hard to look at.
Charming. Sounds like these two got some banter.
Tell me about the temple.
The head priest, a brother Niddle, was very helpful in regards to Iszara. He seemed to know her well, and shared my concern over her disappearance. He is worth an interview.
I think I saw it across the plaza. He's moved from the throne seekers of the old empire to the lesser lords of High Rock, still playing them to his benefit, raking in the gold on all fronts.
I thought that Septim had solidified the Britons.
As much as the witchmen will, there is still a lot of money to be made in the drawing of borders before the provincial laws dry completely. Mercenaries are in great demand right now, as are fixers like our cat friend.
Does he still stink so?
To hear.
I think I will go see him when I leave. It's been too long.
What happened to the old quarter?
The Crowns fled ashore there after the battle. It was their last stand. The governor sent his dragon, and it was done.
Was Iszara there?
That section of town is closed off. No one I've talked to knows if she was there or not.
Where's the dragon now?
It's disappeared too. Some say it has returned to the imperial province. Others say the governor keeps it well paid and fed in the catacombs below the palace.
Is there another way into the catacombs?
There is the traditional way.
Imagine that I laughed. Secret entrance, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
What is the Restless League, Captain?
Where did you hear that name?
They attacked the ship that gave me passage.
Speak of it but in a whisper, and not too often. The governor is searching the surrounding waters for them, and will see them broken and piked if he has his way. The League has survived the death of the Crown Prince and resists his enemies still. But they are few, and going fewer from what I hear, and have been reduced to brigandry these days. Not far from the lives we led not too long ago, eh?
Bold are these brigands, the Restless League, to attack a ship in the very harbor.
They must be running low on provisions to act so desperately. They have been ghosts of late, and this appearance is their first since I've been here.
How do you know about them then?
They ran the Iliac before the war. Our lanes have crossed.
But after the occupation, they've stayed relatively scarce?
Yes, which is why their attack on you is so troubling. No one knew of your impending arrival?
Nobody but Sarathra. Would it matter?
I'm not sure.
We were never brigands when I served under you, Captain. Only mercenaries.
Tell that to those on the other end of the sword, lad. You see more of yourself in the men of the Restless League than you'd care to admit, I'd wager.
They're knaves with their eyes on Providence, nothing more. My sword's never been dressed for diplomacy. Give me gold for a throat, the throat for a slight, and I'm well. Give me a well-paying war.
War is the continuation of politics. That's it, right?
You quote Hunding like a RedGuard, Tobias.
Political power grows along the blade of a sword. A drink to the RedGuard.
Wish I had a drink to cheers with him.
I see you still remember your childhood heroes, even if you've dismissed the homeland.
Hunding is a universal wellspring.
Be resolute, fear no sacrifice, and surmount every difficulty to win victory.
See? Anyone could admire that.
Tell me that your RedGuard heart didn't buckle when you saw his statue at port.
Crandar Hunding is a great hero to Hammerfell, I'll admit, and even a little to myself. Hail the great founder and all that nonsense. But it's an ill plan to try and trigger the homeland tug through the invocation of Hunding, Tobias. Don't forget he left his homeland too, and never looked back.
That's because it fell into the sea, you dolt.
What brought you to Stros M'Ki?
War and the rumors of war. Every merchant that's near and seaworthy has come to Stros M'Ki in the wake of recent events. Either in the service of the provisional governor or to fill the sea lines that Septim has shattered, and that the crowns can run no more. I thought I might profit from a visit, but it has brought naught but sorrow and the sign of darker days. I fear I shall be leaving none too soon.
Since when were you a merchant, Tobias?
The fight left me after our little foray into Morrowind. It's been sweet commerce ever since.
I've not returned to Morrowind since then.
Who'd want to? All that ash and fire. Those dark elves can keep their curse.
Don't forget the bugs.
Which reminds me, Governor Richten has a little sting of his own from those parts. His lieutenant is a dark elf. Watch out for that one. Always close by the governor, hiding in his shadow.
Which means he's got plenty of room to maneuver.
You are leaving, Captain? When and wherefore?
At sunset, if all goes well, and as for where, whither I will. Stros M'Ki is not for me.
But I thought you might help me.
The Imperials have been asking about yours truly around the docks lately. I fear my inquiries into Iszara's disappearance have interested them in all the wrong ways. I will help you as I can through the course of this day, but after that I must be done with it. I'm too old for an Imperial prison. You haven't been here long enough. My ship is ready to leave at sundown, but don't worry. I'll be here until then to help you along if you need it. A lot can transpire in a day. We will see each other again.
The barkeep is a long way from Black Marsh, isn't he?
That's right, and it's kept me good company in my wait for you. Trust it well after I leave, for it knows this island and all who live here. But don't bother asking about the eye, because I already have.
Dreekius knows of the Eye of Argonia?
It's got the skin for it, wouldn't you say? I'll find the thing yet, and before you, if I get my way.
Another soft skin with dreams of the priceless king's jewel of ancient Black Marsh. You look this sort too, all sword and swagger. Tobias, he describes you well.
Aye, but Cyrus here must save that adventure for another day. He's got a sister to find. I've told him that you will help him after I depart, Lizard. So mark me well.
Whatever you say.
Do you think Iszara chose sides in the Civil War, and that is why she has disappeared?
Your family's always been partisan, lad, since your early days in Sentinel. I ventured she still held her old allegiances, even if you haven't. Few crowns in Stros M'Ki survived the battle with the Imperials, but I know Iszara was one of them. Hearing of the defeat of the crowns caused me much concern. When I arrived, a search for word of Iszara's safety. The only ones here who knew of her said that she had disappeared shortly after the Imperials landed.
I see the harbor is already arrayed in the flags of the Emperor, and that his men walk the streets as if born to them.
Stros M'Ki is a dangerous port these days. There's an empire to be built, you know, and Tiber Septim shows no sign of slowing its increase from here to the edge of the world's map. High Rock's border kings bent knee to the Cyrodiil long ago. Even my father's fair Skyrim is adorned with flags of red dragons and foreign men. We are entering a new era, I fear, with Septim's name writ long and wide upon it.
It's funny you said that, actually, because I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but this game is based off the Second Age in the time of the Elder Scrolls, with Skyrim and Oblivion and Morrowind and the rest of the Elder Scrolls being based on 3rd era. So that's a quite interesting little fact for that. Let's see what Tobias thinks of Time of Septum.
Any kind words for our new emperor?
He is good at what he does, and sees the holes lesser men leave wide. No offense to your Prince Ator, of course.
Hammerfell's problems are her own. I was only asking if Septim was the tyrant they say.
Of course he is. Tyranny means never having to say you're sorry. But Iszara's fate has nothing to do with the Emperor, I'm sure. Look to the Provisional Governor if you suspect Imperial entanglements. He's the real tyrant around here. How long were you in Wayrest, Cyrus?
Long enough to piss off the locals.
A bay ride from Sentinel. Close enough for you to hear about Prince Ator, then.
Yes, of late the criers are tripping over each other. There's so much to report of the blistery sound.
And you've listened to it all, I'm sure.
Fine, recount all word of Prince Ator that I have shamefully ignored.
When his father died and the capital of Sentinel was taken over by the Forebears, the prince fled back here to his ancestral home of Stros M'Ki. After rallying the crowns to his stead, he made for the throne again and had it near. That's when the Empire came. Through a four-bear truce which no one expected. Again the prince was forced back to Stros M'Ki, which he died defending. He will not long be forgotten. Lizard, another drink?
So yeah, that was the little story that was told at the start of the game.
What were the terms of the Forebear truce?
Originally, the Empire was to lend its armies to the Forebear cause in return for a swath of holding titles along the southeast border. But when Baron Volag disappeared during the arse end of the war, all bets were off. A new treaty was formed, which garrisoned those Imperial armies in the city.
Until such a time as the native rulership can see fit to reinstate itself safely on its rightful throne.
Something like that, yes, sir. Septim's no Cyrodiil from what I've heard, though he rules their remnants and rebuilds their empire. He's something worse, or greater, depending on your disposition to the center, son.
If he has no blood tie to the Cyrodiil throne, then how did he make it his?
Come on! For the last 400 years, the petty kings of Cyrodiil have been squabbling over the title of Emperor, all claiming 4 barons. Imperial throne's blood's thinner than a sea dream and half as wet. Tiber Septim took the throne as he took your people's.
Hail the new conqueror.
There's a good little subject.
You used to hire out to those petty kings, did you not?
20 years ago, maybe, when the whole heart of Tamriel was in chaos. I can admire Tiber Septim insofar that he has managed to consolidate the rags and tatters that bickered there then.
No empire is a good thing, Captain.
There's a RedGuard for you.
So the Nord kings have submitted to Tiber Septim too.
They do not worry over much. They have outlasted empires before, and this conquest will be no different. Hammerfell has been the bloodiest invasion of current record, and by comparison, Skyrim's occupation seemed like a ballet.
Do you know if Iszara fought in the Battle of Stros M'Ki?
My investigations were limited, I'll admit. If she fought, I can't say, but I would guess that she did. The battle was the penultra of the Crowns, and all who subscribed to the name no doubt took up arms. While most of them were slain at sea, others have been taken prisoners by the governor.
Tell me about the provisional governor, Captain.
When I arrived, his soldiers showed me the finer points of Richton's new docking tax, and scoured my ship for leaguesmen. I must say he's a bit of an asshole. You'd better watch yourself around him.
So why aren't you in jail?
Meaning why aren't said soldiers in little boxes at the foot of the palace gate? Because I didn't come to port to get myself in trouble, but to get your sister out.
Should I look into seeing this governor then?
That's what I'd look, laddie.
Could she be in jail?
I haven't exactly knocked on the door to find out. That's your job now. But I know the jail's off limits to non-Imperials. Now, read no visitors whatsoever.
We'll see about that. Imperial expansion has been feared for years. Why wasn't Hammerfell better prepared?
Factional squabbles, divided councils, miscalculations. Crowns lost heart when they lost the capital. Forebears lost their heads completely when they welcomed the Empire's friendship and aid.
So the Empire played the Forebears pretty well, eh?
What else is a visionary with an open invitation to do? The Forebears are having futile second thoughts now, no doubt. Probably why they're so bitter and driven to bar brawls.
What of the Crowns?
Not too many left around here. The few that are don't admit it to just anyone.
How have the Forebears fared under Septim's rule?
The throne of Sentinel is kept warm by another Imperial governor. That should be indication enough.
How is the city of Sentinel? I never returned.
For long my men plied the Iliac, and Sentinel was along the run. That's how I came to know that Iszara moved from there to here. I kept up with her for your sake. If even it were a dream to think anything would come of it. When Volag's purge ignited through the north, I went there seeking to help her. But she was already gone. Later, I learned she'd come to Stros M'Ki.
What was Volag's purge?
When Fassad died, Baron Volag led the Forebears into an uprising for control of the capital. All crowns were forced to leave Sentinel after that first massacre. Your sister was among those that followed the prince here to Stros M'Ki to plan the counterattack. I swear, Cyrus, are you always such a lame brain when it comes to word of recent Hammerfell?
I've come to cultivate a certain indifference about the homeland.
And this is a good thing?
So his character is in question. Again.
She was your sister, Cyrus.
I was probably miles away.
A proximity often and on purpose, I'd suspect. Yeah, well, you're here now.
That's the important thing. We're here now.
Fassad II, so storied in song. It was unwise to invest the Republic on one man.
The Forebears are over there, Cyrus, if you want the company to match the sentiment.
No, it's just... I mean, he was dying when I was still a young kid. We RedGuards were only waiting for it to happen. My father kept his profession in one hand and a whetstone in the other. We knew that civil war would come. If Fassad was so great, why didn't he do more in his life to protect the kingdom after his death?
Some things have to be left for the sun.
The head of the Forebears is a subject of the Empire now.
Or subject to the Empire's execution, from spake of it. He disappeared the day Stros M'Ki was taken, and Sentinel lay in a similar state. Provisional governors rule both cities now.
Captain, what do you know about the smuggler's den?
Knaves that aren't worth my cargo. You should forget about them.
So despite Iszara being last seen in the smuggler's den, it doesn't seem like Tobias knows much about it.
I'll be back. If you're not here, thanks for everything. Good luck.
Just find your sister and get out of here. And send word through Stratra. Go on, you'll do fine.
What will it be, traveler?
Okay, so I got a lot of information and help from Tobias, a friend. So, sounds like we need to start with the temple across the street and try and find a way into the smuggler's den and the palace. we'll talk to Dreekius here, and then we'll probably finish the vigil soon after.
What will it be, traveler?
Barkeep, well met. I'm Cyrus.
I know. I had Tobias made out of fool to believe you'd come.
What?
I'm the one that smuggled his letter out for him. The Empire's been watching all shipments from this port. I figured our chances were slim.
Many thanks, then.
Welcome to the Draggin Tale, by the way, thesis-bound subsistence of mine, where there is good ear and ale co-equal. What can I do for you?
A drink might be nice. I'll use your ears later, maybe.
Ever ready to listen, Softskin? Let adventure thine be mine. I'll share what thoughts I can.
What can you tell me about Iszara?
The Imperials came, and I let her out through the window. I haven't seen her since. A word of advice. Beware the dragon tribe of the Emperor. The warrior king, Tobias Continued, does not tolerate rebellion. And Governor Rickton has promised summary execution to any who take arms to oppose his rule.
Wouldn't dream of it, unless he's responsible for my sister's disappearance.
Even if you were responsible, perhaps it would be wise to proceed cautiously.
Cautiously, eh? If only I knew how to do that. The occupation, it seems, is taking long to consolidate, with the League about and the Imperials still hunting for wayward crowns.
Hammerfell's the defiant line of the human race still. They say some still fight the Empire on the mainland.
Is thus the Empire delayed in further expansion?
The whole wild world, the Elf Kingdoms, and the Beastlands waits to see what finally happens here in the last land of men.
You said the Imperials came here looking for Iszara the last night you saw her.
Not specifically for Iszara. The Imperials had a list of dissidents they sought. Her name was there, with names of many other crowns. Since that time, I see only Forebears here.
The Forebears seem to enjoy your place.
The Imperial liquor tax has forced me to serve everyone, even the city's ancestral villains.
Tell me about the Crowns.
Their fire is gone since the prince was lost. Few show their faces in Stros M'Ki. Some have passed to the mainland. Some few plot and scheme still, nursing fading dreams.
What do you think of the Restless League?
A human tribe of ill account, but whose single-mindedness is something I can fathom. Their raids upset my smuggling operations, and off thus my fair nature. Valenwood wine's hard to come by, you see, but over that, I have nothing worse to say.
You sympathize with the League, then?
Oh no, I merely noted their clannish drives, which any Argonian might admire, being used, as we are, to honor the clan's interests about our own private affairs.
How then does an Argonian manage to leave his tribe to wander Tamriel?
You refer to me? I do not wander, RedGuard. This is a settled study for me, from which I'll add to the wealth of wisdoms when I return to my clan.
I myself was a victim of these raids.
More obstacle, I'd suspect, than victim. The raids had ended, it seemed, but your mischance may be token of renewed troubles the sailors speak of. The League is marshalling anew its forces, or so the rumor goes.
Some second battle of Stros M'Ki?
True, it sounds unlikely, but they are dagger lads, the Restless League, and they vow to make war again.
How have the denizens of Black Marsh resisted the Empire so long?
1,000 miles of swamp, bog, and stink aren't attractive to most humans. And terror of the Connaughton flu still holds most at bay, but our days of testing will come.
What's your subject of study?
The other, of course. Those ones not skinned in scale. We see that Septine's tribes will not be long satisfied with the thrones of men and the elder race. One day they will come to Black Marsh. Argonians have lost land once before, when we did not know our enemy.
I see, and what better place to learn the wants of men than at the bar?
There are other places, universities, the military, the magical guild, but I aim to chart man's geography of desire, which is most readily charted when he is drunk and blathering. Is this your first visit to Stros M'Ki, Cyrus?
Aye, but the occupation makes it seem less so. With the Imperial standards aloft at port, it seems like any other vassal town of Cyrodiil.
But for the unrest of like blood?
The only blood I care about is my sister's. As far as I'm concerned, new Kingless Hammerfell has gone its way.
Your apathy is decidedly reptilian.
I don't know how to take that coming from you. What are you talking about?
This tavern, of course, both site and subsidy of my studies, as well as a fine storehouse of spirit.
Let's see if he knows anything about the smuggler's den.
Dreekius, you mentioned taking part in some smuggling operations.
Minor stuff is all, and mostly nil, now that the governor's men are keeping such tabs on me.
What can you tell me about the smuggler's den?
It's run by some upright from the north, a quit-to-anger sort, and he only talks to members of the den.
Let's see if our lizard friend's got any information about the amulet we've been tasked to get, or the flask we've discovered.
Hey, Dreekius, I got this delivery job that'll get me into the palace for sure.
What are you going to deliver?
Some amulet meant for the governor.
Do you have it yet?
Not yet, I've got to get it at the Necromancer's Isle.
Don't forget to bring some gold to pay the boatman, Cyrus. And be careful.
Thanks, Dreekius, I will.
It's interesting. Apparently we've been, need to bring some gold. So we'll be travelling by boat. We need to pay the boatman. Remember that for when we head off.
I've come across the legend of the Flask of Lillandril.
That bug's got you too. A lot of people on this island are looking for it. Even the Empire, I hear.
What would they want with it?
The scuttlebutt. They want it for an invasion of Somerset Isle to help them dispel its magical defenses. Leastways, be advised that the Flask's burial ground is well sought by more dubious parties than you.
A lot of people are looking for the flask. Anybody in particular?
There's a Breton about town, loud and lit to hear, by the name of Crendel. He was in a few weeks back, bragging about having a piece of a map.
A map showing where the flask is buried.
Yeah, but Grendel's a drunk, so make of it what you like.
Okay, so it sounds like we got our first clue for a piece of the map. We need to find this town drunk central guy.
I'd better keep moving. Can we talk later?
Anytime, anytime.
So now we talk to our two friends. Just before we finish, how about we talk to these fine fellows over here?
Excuse me.
Hey, looky there, Goo. A crown come out of hiding.
That's so, hey, Crown. Be good and bring us another round, eh?
I hear you crowns think you're real brave dagger lads. Want to test yourself against a real swordsman?
I'm sick of chit-chat, little Crown boy. Pull that blade out if you know how, or leave me alone.
Very charming people. Yeah, I'll just apologise and leave them be for now.
Sorry to trouble you.
Actually, you know what? I don't think we should take that.
Excuse me.
We should fight these guys.
Stand and draw then, gentlemen.
Take him, boys.
Okay. So if we proceed to get our sword out,
Gentlemen,
take this guy.
take it
Pick on someone your own size.
Mine now.
Take care. We just cleaned it.
Save me, lad.
So a little tip with these guys.
Careful of the
It's actually,
quick with
they won't
it.
do any damage. If you've seen in the top corner there.
Keep away from me, lad. Still my
Just stand here,
ear.
everyone.
He's
Just
done for.
Get hit
Slice him
without getting
good.
damaged.
He's done for.
These guys are quite good.
Come on, Cyrus.
Hunding's bones, man.
Point up, lad.
Haven't you people anything else to do?
Good. Slice him good.
A bit out of shape, are we?
Get him quick. He's quick with it.
Oh, getting old and slow,
Take
mate.
care. We just cleaned the place. I've seen blades before. You can put that one away.
We can actually damage the glasses as well. A bit of a vandal, aren't we? Okay. And we can talk to these guys whenever we want and practice our fighting skills here. Okay. I think that'll be everything for our first episode. I know it's been quite a lot of talking, but hopefully in the next episode we'll go exploring and quest a bit more and find more exciting adventures. But for now, comrades, thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed, and I really hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye for now, comrades.